This great gift of your imagination is the first thing. And the imagination is the place within you where you have to go to place into your consciousness, into your mind, what it is that you would like to attract into your life, whether it's health. And I do this with this leukemia every day. I do not fight it. I'm not angry at it. I invite it to leave if it wants to, but if it wants to stay with me, I invite it to stay with me peacefully and lovingly. And I know that I showed up when I was supposed to, and I will shed this body when I'm supposed to, and I'm not in any fear about when that is supposed to happen. I just am totally at peace with it all of it. Okay? So, in your imagination, you have to remember that everything that exists, just look around you. Look at what you're wearing. Look at the chairs that you're sitting on. Look at this building. Look at this screen up here. Look at everything that is taking place in your life. Everything, whatever it is, understand that it first had to be imagined. It started out as a thought. We are all thoughts of God. Now, if you know that everything that ever existed once had to be thought, then you start, and as I used to tell Sky this over and over again, you must contemplate yourself surrounded by the conditions which you wish to have show up in your life. You must contemplate this. Your thoughts in your imagination, you continuously contemplate what it is. You know, the law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. The law of flying, these beautiful machines that fly over and take us all over the world, was not discovered by the contemplation of the staying on the ground of things. It was contemplated by someone or several people who contemplated heavier than air objects moving through the air at a certain speed with wind pushing under that. And that's what they contemplated, and they wouldn't allow themselves. You can't, if you contemplate things not working. I'm on an airplane, and I'm sitting next to a woman who's a photographer on Maui, had just done a wedding and was flying back to San Francisco. And she's got all of this equipment. And I said to her, you're a photographer? Is that what you do? She said, yes. I said, do you like it? She said, yeah. She said, but I'll never get rich at it. I said, would you like to get rich? She said, well, of course. Who wouldn't want to get rich? I said, let me see who I'm going to sit next to for the next 5 hours. I'm sitting next to someone who believes that she can't get rich and anticipates that it will never happen for her, even though it's something that you want. Is that what you're saying? We had this, she was very nice talking to her and a very sweet lady. But so often, this is what we do. We have thoughts in our head about what we can't do, and then we wonder. I used to give the example of if I gave you $1,000,000 and I said to you, take this $1,000,000 and go out, and this is your currency to purchase anything that you want, anything at all that you want. And so you go to the mall, and the first store you come into has a group of these ugly old rugs, and you say, I'll take two of those. They're $50,000 a piece. And you say, but you don't even like them. I know, send them to my house. And then you look at another store, and they are selling lamps, and the lamps are just hideous looking. And you say, I'll buy 10 of those. That'll be $100,000. And then you get home and you realize that your house is filled with all of this stuff that you don't want. And you say, how come my whole house is filled with things I don't want? It's because you're crazy. It's because you've been given a currency to attract what you do want, and you put your attention on what you don't want and spend your currency thinking about all the things that you don't want, which is what your thoughts are. You never, but never, but never want to put your attention on what you don't want unless you want to attract what you don't want. You don't ever want to think about what's missing in your life unless you want more of what's missing in your life. You don't even want to think about what is unless you want more of what is to continue showing up in your life. You want to use your imagination to place in your imagination what it is that you would like to attract into your life, and you hold on to it. And that's the secret. It's called having a burning desire. I learned it from Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. People who are able to attract prosperity into their life have a burning desire, and they never place their thoughts on what they can't have. They just don't think in those ways. Self-actualizing people always place their attention on what is showing up in their life. So the first thing you do is you place in your imagination what you would like to attract into your life, and you hang on to it. The second thing you do is you live from the end instead of about the end. Living from the end means that you act as if what it is that you would like to attract into your life is already here. I suggest, Dan, that you probably did this when you were in the second and third and fourth grade learning to tie your shoes without any hands. That you could always have a pic because you wouldn't have continued with it if you didn't. You had to have a picture of yourself doing this, even though you didn't know how to do it. In your imagination, you were already doing it. I know this because we've talked about this personally many times. And this is something I'm telling you that I have lived from my entire life. When I wrote Erroneous Zones, I saw it being translated into languages all over the world. I saw people wanting to get it. It was just something that I had a knowing about. Tracy will tell you about it. It was over and over and over again. There was never a thought that this is something that isn't going to work out. I lived from the end.